I'm honored and delighted to be part of Nicolas Kamas's graduation ceremony, his initiation now as Dr. Nick. It's been a delight and a blessing, Nick, for me to be part of your journey to this day. I'm only sorry we can't celebrate it in the right way, not yet at least, maybe with a glass of champagne. But I have to say, I've always felt a bit of an outsider here. I'm not an expert on medieval diplomacy or canon law. By trade, as you know, I'm a student of early Christian theology, what we call the Church Fathers from the 2nd to maybe the 9th century. But I'm also involved in ecumenical dialogue between East and West, between the Orthodox and Roman Catholic communions. And so when Nick, who was a committed Orthodox Christian himself, came to Notre Dame in the early 20-teens, whatever it was, I took one of my graduate courses. We started talking and became friends even then. And I was delighted when he asked me to serve on as one of the directors of his dissertation. He wrote, as you know, about the famous, maybe infamous, 11th century Cardinal Humbert of Silva Candida, a French Benedictine monk and an official in the regime of Pope Leo IX, who had once been a local bishop in eastern France also. Humbert was the one who led a Vatican delegation to the Byzantine court in 1054, ostensibly to discuss and maybe even iron out some differences between Eastern and Western families of churches. And when those negotiations didn't go well, as many of you may remember, Humbert officially broke off relations between the Eastern and Western families of churches in the name of Pope Leo, laying a decree excommunicating the Byzantine Patriarch, Michael Karolarios, on a Eucharistic altar right in the middle of the Byzantine liturgy. Although this is only one of a number of alienating events, what today we might call ecclesiastical distancing, that took place between Eastern and Western Christians in the Middle Ages, Humbert's proclamation of this official break is often seen as the crowning gesture that began a schism that we're still working to heal. Dr. Kamas's dissertation is a careful, sober, even-handed recounting of Cardinal Humbert's life and work, especially his views of the real differences between Eastern and Western Christianity. Nick shows us clearly that for Humbert, and presumably for the Roman papal establishment of his time, these differences were exclusively practical, even liturgical, not differing understandings of church or of authority in the church, let alone differences on the basic contents of the creed, but differences in how each church had come to live the Christian life. The use of leavened or unleavened bread in the Eucharist, for instance, fasting practices, clerical celibacy, notions of ritual purity and what Christians may eat, the times we can sing Alleluia in church. All of these issues, which Christians today might regard as variations in custom rather than as central matters of faith, seem to have been seen in the mid-11th century, at least by the West, as non-negotiable barriers to Christian unity and to Eucharistic sharing. Nick's dissertation is an extremely valuable piece of research, and I hope it gets published soon. Maybe the process has already begun. It represents careful scholarship based on the texts we possess and is written clearly and fairly. It sheds a lot of light on what the Great Schism of 1054 really was, and even by implication on how we might today work to heal it and move on. I certainly learned a lot from working with Nick on this. But in the process, I have to say I learned even more about this academic game we're all in from Nick himself, from his dedication to work, his scholarly integrity, his gentle and ironic sense of humor, his endurance, his modesty and humility. So let me just say for now, congratulations, Dr. Nick. You've done a great job. You've written an important work that promises to advance the course of Christian unity. And I feel like I shake your hand in person, which won't be permitted for a while. Let me just say, keep up the great work. Keep studying, flourish and prosper. Or as they say in Byzantium, ispoa eti. And make sure you stay in touch.